My name is Neil Willis. I'm the CEO of CQ Media Networks out of South Carolina. And we actually develop content delivery systems for primarily education and healthcare vertical markets. I think one of the hurdles I really see at CQ Media that we see the industry going forward is standardization. I really think, like in consumer world, it really leads on a technology standpoint. Since '87, when the DVD came out, we watch how the consumer industry is really starting to develop technologies first, and we follow behind in a business setting about 18 months later. And exchange of information. So if you have digital signage networks on one side that are proprietary and siloed, and you have other ones that are doing the same thing, there's not a lot of exchange going on between these digital signage networks. So I think one of the hurdles is to be able to have some kind of standardization, whether it's IEEE or something, that we can exchange information between digital signage networks just to be able to make them grow. When we get to that point, then it's going to be just common acceptance. Inside this hall, we'll have a lot of interaction between the different systems as opposed to them being separate. And a lot like you have some of your social media is done now, there's a lot of interchange between FaceTime and Facebook and Twitter. It'll be that way with digital signage as long as they can standardize on some type of protocol. The vertical markets and their growth with digital signage, obviously retail has just blossomed and boomed over the last couple of years. And I think they're going to be the leader with that continuing. But I really think that education and healthcare, why we chose that with CQ Media was because there's so many opportunities inside those enterprise spaces. We have a lot more government funding going to those two two spaces with education and healthcare. There's so many opportunities with, like in healthcare, with diseases and things not passing through on digital signage and making displays that can be wiped down as opposed to paper on the side of a bulletin board. There's some business advantages to them, health advantages, and education is all the time using signage inside of their facilities, and now it gives them opportunity to update that dynamically with their media specialists, educate colleges and students on campus. So I really think the education and the healthcare vertical markets are going to be the next ones that's going to really take off. I think the next big thing, not that it's going to be in 3 or 4 months, but I think this whole paradigm of the display is going to change. I think that, at CQ we try to develop things on a multimodal approach, which means the output of where digital signage goes to is not just a flat panel display. It could be a tablet PC, it could be a mobile device, it can be a PC for emergency alert. But I think what's going to happen is that digital signage display, that modality, is going to become more a part of that individual person. All right, I'll explain a little bit more. There are technologies that's going through, like at MIT. I'm working on my master's at MIT right now, and there's things going on in the Media Lab that allow you to be able to carry a device around your neck, and when you want to display certain technologies, depending on where you are geographically, it simply displays on the wall. You can actually annotate and gesture through it. And I think with the mentality, if people look at it and they say, okay, let's choose our platform, let's choose our strategy right now, not based off what we see in this hall, because Digital Signage Expo is going to grow. We're going to have so many different things here next year than we did not have this year, like we didn't have last year. So looking at those different modalities to say, it's not just going to be a flat panel in 3 or 4 years. It's going to be something that's going to be more personal to that individual, because it's not based off just their location of in a fixed space. It's going to be wherever they are, we can send them digital signage, based off their geographical location, based off their demographics, what kind of purchases they make as an individual. And I think that's one of the biggest changes, is changing that more mobile environment of sending digital signage to and I think the term will probably change too, to tell you the truth. I think, I will break out the box a little bit, I think digital signage term will change because it becomes so much bigger than that. It's no longer just signage on a wall, it's so much bigger than that. I think that as technology develops, positioning CQ Media to take advantage of the growth, because right now we're still in that toddler stage of this industry. Things are changing so rapidly. We're still learning about how these things communicate with each other. And you've got a lot of AV that's coming over into the IT space, and they're having the convergence of all that. So I think as a CEO of an emerging company, the importance is going to be on standardization. It's going to be on, we want to earn our customers' business one project at a time. We don't want to paint them into a corner, but allow them to do business with us and force them to do business with us for years to come. So I think as we grow as a company and as the industry grows, it's going to be important to be able to make sure all of our devices and everything that we do is on the network, of course. That's one of the keys to success in that area. But also having that standardization to where if they decide they want to do something with somebody else, they can still use our tools. So I think that return on investment for a customer buying our solution is going to be a lot greater than it would be a proprietary one. And as technology changes, we can adapt a lot easier to ever changing, which is going to change. Anything we know about technology, it changes. You go on vacation, you come back, it's changed. But I think as we adopt new standards and open standards everybody adopts to, it's going to make us a lot more flexible to adapt to those changes. I conducted a workshop yesterday on integrating digital signage into your existing communication systems. And And I think when you have enterprise type customers that have large collateral investment into their telephone system or their paging environment or to different systems within their facilities, when they bring in digital signage, they don't want to end up just being standalone. They want it to integrate with everything else. So what if I can type a different number or a number on their telephone keypad and initiate an emergency all over the facility, and it comes across the paging environment, but also every sign changes, within 500 milliseconds of that emergency. What if I want to have my paging and my digital signage work together on an emergency? Or what if I want my security cameras to trip, or if the cooler inside the cafeteria goes off and I don't waste $100,000 in chicken, I get notified on my digital signage display inside administration. So the whole session was using a scenario of a higher ed facility, of doing emergency alert and how they can put certain components in front of these legacy systems and actually communicate with their digital signage system. And it was actually a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be. And I thought, you hear yourself talking, you really don't, it's not interesting, but I got hand claps, so it worked out really well. And we had a bunch of people back at the booth once I was done asking questions, a line of people waiting to meet with me after the session. A couple of them said it was the best one they've seen at the show, so I was really pleased and flattered by that. But I think it's important that when you have these enterprise customers that's purchasing, let's protect their investment they already have made in other technologies. And I think in the digital signage industry, as we grow, if we respect that of the customer as opposed to asking them to forklift something out of their facility just so they can have this new cool digital signage tool to put in their facility. If we show that respect for what they've already done and expand that extended ROI, they're going to accept it. The CFO is going to accept this. Okay, well, this makes what we already have even better. It's not just something that's just new, it makes what we already have even better. Last year was the first year actually even attending DSE, and I actually exhibited with signage, which is one of our distributors, had a corner part of a booth, and got a lot of attention. We won a software award through Rave Publications as the most innovative product. And then I got a phone call about 2 weeks after the show from Chris Gibbs saying, Neil, you really need to have a bigger presence at DSE, because of the award. But I was really impressed with the quality of the attendees. I'm much less about the quantity of who's going to be at a show like a CES, but more about those qualitative customers of talking to them, these decision makers, these people of influence, is those kind of people I want to talk to. And at DSE, I noticed those were the people that were here. So last year when me and Chris talked on the phone, I was like, you know what? We're going to make the largest investment we've ever made inside of a trade show booth as a small business. So we've got a 20 by 30 booth just right off the side of Main Street with our booth. And as a small South Carolina software development company, we're right in between 3M and some of these bigger players inside the industry. So we feel very, very blessed to be in that position. But still, the quality of the attendees it's a bigger show than it was last year. Love the layout of the floor plan and things. It really is nice. Very pleased. I'm Neil Willis, CEO of CQ Media Networks, and I'm at DSE 2011. Where are you?